Hey guys, it's Megan from LittleTennesseeHome.com, and today I'm going to share with you how I make one of our favorite breakfast items, banana nut muffins with a potato flake sourdough starter. So here I just added 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I was using a 1/2 cup measuring cup and just did that 5 times to get the 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Add in a 1/2 cup of potato flake starter. This can be an active starter or it could be discard because you are going to be adding an additional leavening agent that will help rise the bread regardless if it's active or discard. You're going to add 1 egg and 1/2 cup of melted coconut oil. You want to make sure that your coconut oil is not too hot. Here mine was a little bit too warm. I didn't want it to kill my starter, so I kind of made a barrier with the flour to protect the starter from getting scorched when I poured the melted coconut oil in. Then you're going to add in a 1/2 cup of honey. A little tip is to always pour in your coconut oil first, and that way your measuring cup is going to be oiled and the honey will slip right out and you won't have to scrape out all of your honey. You're going to mix everything together really well with your rubber spatula, scrape down the sides, get it all together, and then you're going to cover it with plastic wrap and let it ferment on the counter at room temperature for about 8 to 12 hours. You're not going to notice a ton of difference the next day. It has been about 8 to 12 hours since I mixed everything together. Now I'm getting ready to mash up the bananas. Since I made this video, I've kind of figured out that it's a little bit easier than using a fork to use a handheld mixer to beat the bananas until they are nice and smooth and mashed up, and they mix in very well with the batter. You will use it not only to mash up your bananas, but also to mix the bananas in the batter that you already mixed the day before. You do want to make sure that your bananas are very mashed, very well mixed, because it will incorporate into your dough a lot easier. You might notice that your dough is a little bit puffier, but it's definitely not going to double in size. The next day you're going to be adding a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 4 ripe bananas that are mashed. I always err on the side of adding extra banana than too little because it adds so much moisture to your muffins. So if you have to cut off some bad spots of your bananas, go ahead and add in a little bit more if you can. If you have it, it's going to make a huge difference in the moisture. And another tip that I want to mention is that you can freeze bananas if you buy them on sale, or if you have some that are about to go bad. Peel them, stick them in a gallon size Ziploc bag, pop them in the freezer, and then you are ready whenever you want to make banana nut muffins. All you have to do is let them thaw. Here I used my stand mixer to incorporate the bananas into the mixture. You can use your stand mixer, or you could use your handheld mixer like I mentioned earlier. The last ingredient that you're going to add into your muffins is the chopped walnuts. We buy a huge bag of walnuts at Sam's, so I just grabbed a few handfuls out, put them in a Ziploc bag, and beat them with my mallet and crushed them up. My boys like them very crushed up. I prefer them to be a little bit more whole, so it's just all based on your preference. It's also totally optional if you want to leave it out. If you do add them, it's about a 1/2 cup of walnuts. I really love these muffin liners. They are made out of parchment paper. I'll leave a link in the description below of the kind that I really like. The reason these are so perfect is you don't have to spray them at all. They do not stick at all, and you can add a little bit more batter into the muffin liners and they're not going to overflow. Most of the time I don't even have to clean my muffin pans after making muffins because these parchment liners are just so great. I like to use a cookie scoop to measure out my muffins. It makes them all the same size, and I'll also leave a link to the same one that I use in the description below. I've actually gotten a new one since this video, and I love my new one so much more. It works so much better. I actually had to get a new one because the one used in this video has broken. Then you top each of your muffins with a little bit of coconut sugar. If you don't have coconut sugar, you could also use brown sugar, or you could just leave this part out if you don't want to, but I find that it makes such a delicious muffin, and I can tell a difference whenever we don't put it on the top. You're going to bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until a toothpick is inserted in and pulled out pretty clean. It might stick just a little bit because of the bananas, but you just basically don't want a glob of wet batter coming out on them. And that's it. And now you have some delicious potato flake sourdough starter banana nut muffins. If you want to find the free printable recipe, just head on over to littletennesseehome.com, or you can check out the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy.